My name is Fukiko Takase. I'm a dance artist based in London. I worked for Wayne McGregor for 8 years. I just left last year, actually, end of 2018. So I've been freelancing for, I don't know how long, like a bit more than a year. So I was born in New York. I was born between the dancers. My parents were both dancers, and I grown up sort of like just watching them rehearsing, performing. They were really poor artists, so they'll take me everywhere. Like this, I mean, there was kindergarten, but because of the working schedule, I was sort of like forced to hang out with adults and dancers in the studio and a theater. So for me, it was quite organic for me to have dance in my life. And my parents are really supportive for my career, so I'm quite privileged with that. I didn't look typical Japanese. So yeah, growing up in Japan was a little bit difficult for me, just because back in the day there weren't not much foreigner in Japan. So I was pointed at like aliens and stuff like that, but it didn't really bother me at the time. Like it had me, but not to the point that I just felt that I didn't fit in. That's how I felt. Um, I think that's the reason that I came to London, because like it didn't really matter where I'm from. It's about what you bring, to art, to the world. Um, so that's what I like about London. So it's I have an interesting relationship with the dance, I think. Of course, I wanted to dance. I that's my passion, and I always want to be, something to do with dance. But then the life gets me sometimes. Like growing up in a society, sort of suppressed society um, of Japan, was quite tough for me. Dance wasn't occupation. So, there were periods when I was freelancing, I would work from like 10 p.m. to 6 in the morning. And from, I get home in the morning and I sleep a few hours and I go to ballet class in the noon and I go to the rehearsal until evening and I go to the restaurant again and work as a waitress for 8 hours and I repeated that for what now 18 months and then like I went crazy. I was really depressed, like more because freelancing in Japan was so hard. I had to be a waitress, and it's probably same in New York as well. It's not so easy. And more I dance, more I was poor. And more I take class, more I was poor. Performance, I have to sell the ticket. So, if I don't sell the ticket, then I don't have a salary because that's the salary. So, so that at the, yeah, so that point I wanted to stop. I stopped dancing. And I just started working in a restaurant. And then I think everybody thought I quit or something. But then I got more depressed, more like I stopped dancing and I was depressed. I thought I was depressed because I was dancing. That makes me poor. But then, yeah. So then, like at one point, like I gave up. I gave up living because I didn't have purpose. And then that, I took a chance, I took a chance of killing myself. I took all the pills from my mom's like drug box, and I, took a whole bunch of pills. Like I pop out the pills, and like at the time I thought, okay, I remember this. This is my last moment. Like I was so serious. I was so serious, and then I slept about 2 days. I woke up, and then first thing my mom said was like, she wasn't even worried. She said, "Oh, I applied for this competition. It's in a week." And I'm like, okay, like I'm alive now, so let's do it. And then I won something, I won first prize. It was really like quick. It was like fruit salad, what I made. It was solo, but then I danced about my last moment, the pill, on the table, how I felt, the dark room. I danced about that. I took a piss out of it. Like 1 week, I have to make everything happen. Why not? Okay, I can do it. I'll do it. I wanted to die. 1 week later, I had the money in an envelope and a trophy like this. I was going home, and I realized life isn't so bad, and I felt like I should be dancing. Then I study in Holland, Rotterdam, and I study at the place in London. So yeah, and then I became professional 12 years ago in London. Yeah, since I've been freelancing, it's been interesting. It's quite a I didn't think it was so much of jump from sort of like employee dancer to freelancing choreographer, because it's same traveling, same sort of like dealing with like circumstance. But then I think it's been quite a journey for me to do like totally different field of genre. I've been dancing. Well, I've danced with pop singer in Japan, like massive Hikaru Tada. I've known her since I've choreographed on her music video, Forevermore. And then, yeah, that was in 2017, 16, 17. And then, yeah, so I got to perform for what, 140,000 people, massive arena, dome. That was one thing. I also did cut piece from Yoko Ono. So yeah, I'm a dance artist. So I dance, I choreograph, I teach, I do anything to do with dance. So this was one of the sort of most interesting experience I had with cut piece. It was done in 1974 by Yoko herself in MoMA, New York. So it's the piece, like she wear her clothes and she sit in the gallery, and people, in front of scissor, and people will just cut her, pieces of her clothes. And yeah, I was commissioned to do that part, and yeah, like it was sort of like life-changing experience for me. Yeah, to be so exposed and so powerful in front of so many eyes as a performer. So I worked with Hubert Esakov. That was so many years ago, 12, 13. Yeah, then it was print room still then. There was no Coronet theater back then. We were rehearsing there for a few weeks and performed there in the same space, which was really lovely. I really enjoyed that space actually. So like that's how I got to know Anda. She's been amazing, quite inspiring for me to know her. Coronet Theater, I think it's a really charming theater. I would love to do something there. Yeah, it's an intimate space. My choreography, it's normally quite bare, so I like this challenging of space, body, and the thought. That quite bare, but for me, like it, like it's better than adding on. Like if it needs add on, but like I think you don't need much. I think body tells a lot, space tells so much, and the thought travels everywhere. So yeah, like for me, I think it has to have a reason to have a lot of stage set, or yeah, it has to be a big reason. Being in the Coronet theater and looking at the theater from the auditorium and the feeling of that space, I would like to do the piece 1001, which is quite recent piece for me. It was made last year, April, premiere in Minneapolis Lab Theater, commissioned by Liquid Music, collaboration with Dustin O'Halloran, composer, and Yaro Nabrafia, the lighting designer. It's the piece, half an hour solo, live music, if be possible. It'd be nice. So this is the piece based, sort of roughly based, touched on Ghost in the Shell, was influenced by it. And it has 3 parts. And so the piece talks about sort of artificial intelligence, technology, and how do we live in this 3 realm of existence right now happening. So the technology has evolved, and we can be connected anywhere with anybody, anytime. And along with that, I think it's also important to sort of not to compare, but like to have it aside, to have the present realm, that material things, and then spiritual realm, that's like something that's we don't know. There's no material, but it's something that we believe in. So yeah, so it's half an hour non-stop. So you see how the body change, how the body evolves because of the environment, because of the lighting, because of how the body behave and the feel of the moment.
"1001" is based on binary code, which is the basis of how we've developed technology. This binary code is sort of eternal, and the idea that maybe the next consciousness is something that becomes the eternal, beyond flesh essence of humanity. It was completely out of my comfort zone to push into an electronic realm. I thought this was a great opportunity because I thought if I was going to approach it right and find myself in it, it would be through your dance.
As a Japanese, I follow animation. I'm a big fan, and I started from, I think it was like Ghost in the Shell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why not? I make dance out of that. It's not exactly like I'm making Ghost in the Shell as dance piece, but it was sort of essence of how can I make this possible? How do I physicalize this feeling of new age digital body. You know, like what's digital body? Like I have no idea. It took me about 2 weeks to like in a studio just like struggling. I'm really happy with what it came out. Yeah.
Musically, it was a really interesting concept because the idea of starting from a very organic place and evolving into a technological electronic landscape and then trying to push further even beyond that and trying to find something that was about new language, about new communication, about consciousness. And so
But what he creates, like really, I feel like this, it's for us, you know, not for like, you know, fame or anything.
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
like
yeah,
it
yeah.
touches the heart, and that's much bigger